Hi, my name is Dyce Kimura. I'm a Fort Lauderdale guitar teacher and Skype teacher. And today I want to cover the topic of whether or not you should play the guitar with fingerstyle or with a pick. Okay? This is mostly geared towards beginners. I'm a guitar teacher and I get asked this all the time. And I deal with beginners that come into my teaching studio and a lot of times a lot of people struggle with holding a pick. Okay, grabbing this is a pick, and grabbing the pick and using that to pluck the strings instead of just playing with your fingers. Naturally, for a beginner, I think it comes a lot more natural for them to not use a pick, to just want to grab the string with your fingers, just like everything else you do in life. Just like when you go type on a keyboard, you just push the key. You don't grab something and then push the key with the something, you know. So it's counterintuitive at first to use a pick. But I've had some people really insistent that they want to not use a pick, for instance, to start out. And that's fine. I usually don't get really pushy with my students, but at the same time, I'll ask them, you know, I'll say, well, who are your favorite guitar players, you know? And if they tell me, you know, I like, you know, Eric Clapton and Jimi Hendrix and Slash and Buddy Guy and B.B. King and Joe Bonamassa and, you know, these types of players. These are all rock players and blues players, and, you know, all these people use the pick, you know, and I'll point that out, you know. There are certain styles of playing that exclusively doesn't use a pick, you know. Fingerstyle, acoustic, you know, Simon and Garfunkel. And I'll specifically ask them, like, do you like these styles? You know, and some people, they do like the styles and that's what they want to learn. But you got to realize that there's a certain style of music that's associated with using a pick or not using a pick. So just in case you're watching this video blog and you're curious, most contemporary guitar music nowadays uses a pick. That's the truth, okay? So if you're out there wanting to learn the guitar but not embracing using the pick, but you want to play contemporary music, things that were written in this century. In other words, classical music, you know, things that were written hundreds of years ago, that is played without a pick. Using a pick is a relatively new development in guitar, I'd say, definitely within the 20th century. But if you want to play modern music, I would suggest to use a pick. But that's not always true, so please be careful. Jeff Beck, for instance, doesn't use a pick, but he used to. John Mayer stopped using a pick recently, within the last 2 years, I believe. But he used to exclusively use a pick. So there are some exceptions to the rule. Okay, Johnny Winter, for instance, he used fingerstyle hybrid with a thumb pick. I believe so did Elvis. So there are a few exceptions to the rule. But if you want to have a middle-of-the-road solution for beginner guitar, and you want to be able to easily learn the techniques used in most of your favorite songs, I suggest you start learning with a pick. The cool thing about playing with a pick is it can allow you to play some of the fingerstyle tonalities as well. So you're not bound to strumming. A lot of people don't realize that. But let's see if I can get some sound here. You know, so for instance, if I'm going to play and I'm going to strum, let's say, I'll just focus in on the camera over here. Here's strumming. Now here's, like, let's say fingerstyle. And then here's with a pick, but it's going to be an arpeggiated style with a pick, kind of sounding like fingerstyle. So, and that's just a beginner level. I can do much more advanced stuff than that, but that's just to show you quickly that you're not bound to strumming just because you're using a pick. And a lot of people don't realize that. Some people say, well, I want to play the intricate, more delicate single note delivery. Absolutely, you can do that using a pick. It's more difficult. just like fingerstyle is more difficult. So, and basically, you know, the reality is the guitar is exactly as hard as it looks. So if you want to do the really cool, exotic sounding stuff, it's gonna be more challenging. So just brace yourself with that. So that's just a quick synopsis of a pick. By the way, you're not bound to anything. Just a quick background on me. I've been playing guitar since I was 6 years old, and my first 6 years of playing, from the age 6 to 12, I played exclusively classical music. I'm talking about Mozart, Bach, and Beethoven. Okay, mostly Baroque classical was what I focused in on, and that was with fingerstyle. When I was around 15, I got into playing blues, and it was using a pick. And man, did I struggle with transitioning into getting into a pick. Where the left hand was way more developed from my 6 years of classical than my right hand from holding a pick, you know? And I really struggled and resisted. So I empathize with people that are going through that, but I want to encourage you to press through, okay? And basically, you'll be glad you did when you get to the other side of this thing. And hopefully one day you can, you know, eventually play both. You can play both styles at will or change even during a song, which is what I do, okay? So feel free to leave your comments there and give me a like or a thumbs up if you if this blog helped you, and I'll see you at the next one. Thanks.